To my friends, Katie, Jana, Caroline, I love you. Thank you for feeling feelings with me and letting me do life with you. And of course, Beverly, Jenny, and Kay, thank you for being my go-tos when I'm having a baby, getting wheeled into surgery, sobbing or laughing hysterically, or noticing an octopus. Christy and Nicole, you are like sisters to me, my forever friends. My grandchildren will know your names. Actually, they'll probably know my names for you, Little Crust and Bump. To my pastor, Josh Howerton, sitting under your teaching has changed my family forever. Thank you for pointing us to Jesus and for all the Hauer Hilta hangs and legendary group texts. Thank you for sending me Tim Keller sermon transcripts that I wanted to use as I wrote this book, and for overlooking the gifts I've sent to you and your family in poor taste. We love you and your people so much. And finally, thank you to my local gym. You watched my kids while I wrote this book. You didn't judge me for wearing workout clothes while sitting and eating chocolate directly in front of healthy people on treadmills. Or maybe you did judge me, but nevertheless, you watched my kids. Preface. When I got the email from B&H Publishing Group saying they wanted to meet with me about publishing this book, I literally dry heaved. And then we met. And then they gave me a book contract. And then I signed it right at the kitchen table with my husband while my dirty kids ate mixed vegetables with their hands. I laughed, I cried, I pinched myself, I pinched my husband, I got onto my daughters for pinching each other. We were all really excited. Writing this book was a lifelong dream. I basically wrote the first draft when I was 9, really. It's in the big wooden thing in my kitchen right now. It's 40 pages of pure sadness, handwritten on notebook paper. It's kind of hilarious in hindsight, but each page is just one sad, scary thing after the other with a brief respite in chapter 8. Those pages read, I also have some good things in my life, like I hardly ever get sick, and I have a lot of friends, like a 34-year-old named Harris, Betty Fanning, my mom's TV agent, and my grandparents. And then back to the worries. Divorce, dog death, bad haircut. I was a broken and scared 9-year-old. I mean, everything scared me. I didn't yet know that Jesus is the only answer. I just knew I wanted to write books. I thought maybe that dream would fix things. But between scribbling on notebook paper at 9 and signing a real book contract at 31, I got to learn that no publisher's opinion and no dream come true can give me what I really want. Somewhere along the way, I learned that I've always had a deeper dream. Writing about fear could never conquer fear. My heart longed for perfect love to cast it out. Before I was a 9-year-old aspiring author, and even before the foundation of the world, I had a need and Jesus had the answer. Jesus was the answer. Jesus is the dream. Getting to publish this book has been surreal. I've spent the past 16 months pinching pretty much everyone. But the reason I was even able to write this book in the first place is because God gave me the grace to find out, before this dream came true, that the dream couldn't do what I wanted it to do. Only Jesus could. What he says tells me who I am. What he did decides who I'll be. So I'm thrilled and in shock and excited to share with you all stories from my life and how Jesus has saved me from my deepest struggle. How he's taken someone who was defined by panic and created a new person with the peace of God. Guys, my dream came true. In addition to that, I got to write this book. There are not enough exclamation points in all the world. Introduction. I've lived scared as long as I can remember. Gearing up for my first day of kindergarten, I had great expectations. I lived in Weston, Connecticut, which is beautiful and foresty and full of thin women who don't wear makeup and retired songwriters and ticks and windy roads. I was only 5, but I'd seen other girls. Other girls wore dresses, so I wanted to wear a dress on my first day of school. But my mom had already picked an outfit for me that was chic and classy and sophisticated. It wasn't those things. Only an 80-year-old man would appreciate this getup. Tucked-in Argyle vest, starched dress shirt, charcoal-pleated tuxedo pants, seriously. In hindsight, my mom was about as laid back as she was a fan of me wearing man suits. She probably would have let me skip the Argyle had I asked, but I was little. Little people don't always know that asking is an option. So I started kindergarten in a man suit. It was scary, but I was also dealing with bigger, scarier problems. My little life was falling apart. Divorce and a new dad and a new home. As my security evaporated, so did my peace. My fear didn't disappear when I left behind kindergarten and men's clothes. The fear only morphed and changed as I got older, but I always had things to be afraid of. I've had seasons in adulthood when I couldn't stop hyperventilating. I had a black widow phase, a sinkhole phase, a rare infectious disease phase, a bad guys phase, a pretty major tornado.